Hey everyone, Animal Man here. Today I'm going to do a really fun project with you, and I shouldn't have to say it, but to cover my butt I will. This is for adults ages 21 or older. We are going to learn how to make our own homemade hard apple cider. And you can make a whole gallon of it just from the store-bought apple juice, probably for $5, which is really cool. And it takes 7 days to make it. So if you start it now, 7 days from now, you can be enjoying this for the holidays. So you can get everything from either the supermarket or at Walmart, which is pretty awesome. And you need a gallon of apple juice. This is just Signature Kitchen's apple juice I got at Shaw's. I think it was $4 and change to get this. And you just want to make sure that whatever apple juice you get has no preservatives. This says filtered water, apple juice concentrate, ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C. That's okay. You just don't want anything that's going to interfere with the yeast and kill the yeast we're going to use. So you then go to the baking aisle. You get 1 packet of yeast, and I tried this with 4 different types. I tried every yeast they had at the store, and I made a batch to see how they taste, and they all taste very different. One of them that I had tasted kind of like champagne. One of them tasted a little bit of, had a little bite to it, a little sharpness to it, and this one was the best. The pizza yeast that I used, it tasted horrible. It did not taste good. That's the only one that didn't work. It didn't taste good. But this one, this is Essential Everyday, all natural, active, dry yeast, and they come in 3 packs like this. So you get, I think, a pack like this for like $2, something crazy cheap like that. Here's a good shot of the yeast. You can find this yeast. It ends up tasting kind of like cider jack. So the only other ingredient you need is a birthday balloon. You may even have these lying around the house, or you can just go buy a pack. So here's what we do. We're gonna open up our juice. Gonna pour 4 ounces into this measuring cup, and you could drink it or whatever. Drink it or throw it out. Doesn't matter. So 4 ounces. That gives us some space. That way it doesn't bubble over. And we're gonna add the yeast. We're gonna cut this open and add it in there. I swear, this multi-tool, I use this like every single day for things. It's one of the best things I ever bought. We add the yeast right in there. And this yeast activates pretty quick. Put the cap back on, nice and tight. Now we're going to shake the heck out of it, shake the crap out of it. You just want all that yeast to dissolve into the water. You don't want to see any chunks on the bottom later on. Yeah, it looks good. So now we're going to take the cap, we're going to give it a rinse, set it aside because you're going to need it later on. And what this balloon is for, this is our airlock. If you get really into brewing your own beer and stuff, you can buy professional airlocks that are pretty cheap. And what an airlock does is it allows gas from the fermentation, which is CO2, to come out, to escape. That way this thing doesn't explode. But it does not allow stuff you don't want in there. You know, think of this like, you know, it's like a bouncer. It keeps unwanted guests from entering the party in there. You don't want other yeasts, bacteria, stuff in there besides this yeast. And this keeps it out of there. So you just stretch it right over the cap. Just gonna stretch this right over. And that forms a good enough seal to keep stuff out. You're gonna see this balloon inflate. By tomorrow, this should be inflating a little bit. When I did these test batches, this yeast made the balloon almost 12 inches across by day 3. It was almost full size. It's pretty cool to watch your balloon slowly inflating. Check it a few times a day. And you don't need to worry about sanitizing the balloon. You don't have to worry about the yeast or anything like that, because if there are any other germs that get in here by accident, there aren't too many ways for it to get in there, but if it does get in there, this yeast is going to ferment this into alcohol in 7 days. That is so quick that if any germs start to multiply in there, as soon as it turns to alcohol, alcohol is just going to kill it all. So it's not even going to be a problem at all, I promise. It's going to be totally fine. So you leave it like this, room temperature, 7 days. You'll see this balloon inflate. Then you take the balloon off, throw it out, and you're going to either drink it as it is, or what you do is you have a second bottle, 1 gallon jug, that's cleaned out with soap and water and dry, And this is called racking. What you do is you slowly pour this into that other one. And what you'll see is at the bottom of this, there's going to be all this white stuff on the bottom. That's called the lees, and you don't want that. That's all like the dead yeast and byproducts of the yeast fermenting and everything. And you want to leave that in the jug. So you pour it into a second one, clean out this jug, wash it out real good, pour it back in there, and then you can drink it like that. And that'll keep any off tastes from entering your brew you've made. And it's about 5% alcohol, somewhere around there, depending on what yeast you use, that kind of thing. If you want to carbonate it, what you would do now is you need to spend a second week on this. So to carbonate it, you take 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, which you may even have in your pantry. We already have it in our pantry. Put that right in there, and now you're going to put the cap on and let it ferment room temperature for another 7 days. And that brown sugar will activate all the leftover yeast that's floating around in the apple cider, and that'll start to carbonate it. You'll see it start to get more and more and more firm. If you look at these ones I did here, these ones have been carbonating for a week with the brown sugar. And look, it's like the bottle's starting to puff out. The label popped off. The bottom's like bowing out a little bit. And you can feel it when you like push on it. It's getting very, very hard. After 7 days of carbonating it, to shut the yeast down, to stop carbonating, you then refrigerate it, and that, kind of makes the yeast all go to sleep. And then you're ready to roll. You've got carbonated, 1 gallon of carbonated hard apple cider you've made yourself for less than $5. Hope you guys enjoy this.